She's been a great help to us, helping Speaker Seeker, and she's a prolific author. That's what she wanted me to say. And she said in her old age. I said, I'm not going to say that. She goes, no, I'm proud of it. I'm proud I'm doing something in my old age. So, come on. I know it's kind of like you have to walk up this ramp walkway. Yeah, it's a little bit different these days, but you go ahead and get started. And she wrote Living with the Stranger in Me, an exploration of aging, and she has a PhD. So here is Heather.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. This is a highly edited excerpt from Living with the Stranger in Me, prepared for a 5-minute reading. So you'll get an idea of who I am. My life is an open book, I like to say, because I write about it. This is chapter 15, A Certain Conclusion. I was 8 years old when I had my first conscious experience with death. I lay in the crib my mother had set up in the dining room when my younger sister, Flo, first got sick with scarlet fever. I remember the delirium, feeling like I was a pile of bones, all incongruently tied in a tangle, so there was nothing of me but a round blob of young bones. How curious, I thought. I wasn't afraid, just curious. Then the blob was gone from the thought, and all seemed empty. Slowly, I became aware of the door in the dining room, the one that led to the outside and had a 4-paned window in it. In the window, a body appeared. I was so happy to see Mrs. Crocker, a neighbor woman whom I dearly loved. When I played with her daughter, Margaret, I'd often go to their house and eat donuts, store-bought donuts, the fluffy kind with powdered sugar that melts into sweetness on the tongue. I also loved the informality of Mrs. Crocker's household, where she always seemed to have time to be with us, not like our mother, who had to do the washing, the baking, the cooking, the sewing, anything other than playing with us. Now Mrs. Crocker was there, her dark hair pulled back from her high forehead, her clothes strangely dark gray. She said nothing. I knew that she was dead, yet here she was standing before me, the only barrier between us being the dining room door, the single object in the whole room that retained its reality. In the window, I saw Mrs. Crocker raise her hand and with it gesture for me to come with her. I wanted to go. I trusted her, and I knew that where she was, I would be happy. But I shook my head. I'm sorry, I said. I can't go with you. My mommy and daddy need me. The room suddenly filled with daylight. There was no one behind the glass of the dining room door. I was in the crib, looking up at my weeping mother, and I said to her, "Can I have some pineapple juice?" My mother put her hand on my forehead. "Thank God," she said, and then to me, of course you can have pineapple juice, and maybe a little chicken soup?" I nodded assent to her question. I was happy. I didn't tell my mother about seeing Mrs. Crocker. I didn't want her to feel badly that I wanted to go with her. Besides, having my mother's joy and undivided attention felt really good to me. Nor did I identify my experience as one of nearly dying until I read much later Raymond Moody's Life After Death. We have odd notions of death. We act as if we have control over it, and we do to some extent. With modern medicine, we postpone dying. There is within us a strong will to live. Maybe that tendency makes it hard to even contemplate our own deaths. Yet as we age and grow nearer to our own demise, we find ourselves making peace with the idea. As I age, I know that life is limited. The building of my future has nearly been accomplished, so my business now is to strengthen my faith so that I can let go of my life when my time comes. I've never seen anyone actually die. I was with John as he was dying, but his last breath came in the early morning hours when I was asleep. The telephone woke me. "Mr. Palmer expired at 3:20 this morning," the voice said. "You can come down and be with him before I call the funeral home." Driving through the cold, dark, wintry morning, I felt the urge to burst into tears. Drive. Concentrate on driving, I told myself. We passed the place where John had first been in rehab. We? I felt a we in the car. I'm not sure what that feeling was all about, only that I knew something as significant as John's death didn't come alone. There he was on his bed, lying still, peaceful in his hospital gown, a very pleased smile still on his face. I leaned over and kissed him. He was still warm, blessedly still warm. I told him I loved him, and I held his hand. His son Michael came in then, followed soon after by the rest of the family. They gathered around him, touching him, kissing him, saying goodbye. They clipped locks of his hair to take in remembrance and asked me if I wanted some. I didn't. I needed nothing to remember John in death. He had given me all I needed in life. Still, death is a mystery to me. All I know is that what is left when someone dies is love. The last thing John said to me before he could no longer talk was, "I love you." Nothing else mattered in that moment.